this because I have 3 screens and it gets a little messy. So I'm here to talk to you today about a project that we've done to integrate cybersecurity into an AP CSP course and also other curricular materials available that you can use at your colleges. So I'm going to go ahead and close this and I will start. Okay, so as I said, this is a presentation about the C5 project, Catalyzing Computing and Cybersecurity in Community Colleges. This is one of the projects that Whatcom has had for several years. And okay, so the C5 project for the grant leadership, it's me and Stephen Miller. So the two of us are the PI and co-PI for this project. We also have supporting personnel, Trina Bowl, who's the operations manager at Whatcom, and Silvana McCormick, who is the evaluator. Okay, so the goal of the C5 project, one of the goals is to develop and disseminate instructional materials to enhance computer science and cybersecurity courses. Another goal was to develop a series of lessons to be integrated into an AP-CSP course. So that is the Advanced Placement Computer Science Principles course that is offered at high schools. And the ultimate goal is to have this course endorsed by the College Board. So to be clear, this is an AP-CSP course that has cyber integrated into it. So it's not a standalone cybersecurity course. Students that complete the AP-CSP should be able to sit for the exam and pass it. Well, hopefully. Okay. So in the C5 project, the project has been around for, I believe we're in year 6 now. We had several goals, or actually 2 goals. One goal was to increase the number of community colleges that have earned the Center of Academic Excellence designation, but the other goal was to develop these materials centered around computer science. So the first set of materials we developed are called the C5 modules. And these are modules that are aligned with several standards. So as I said, we also are supporting the Center of Academic Excellence program. These modules are aligned with the knowledge units that are part of the CAE program. They have been used by colleges and universities in their application for the CAE. It's also aligned with the ACM model. So it includes activities and assessments. They can all be found at this location I have at the insight.net website. And there's 7 modules. Each of them are zipped up. They include assessments and PowerPoints and presentations and the solutions. And so I have an example lab. This I thought would be interesting to people that are teaching online. It utilizes the HackMe website and OWASP Top 10. And I don't know if this is going to show up or not. Do you guys see the lab, or do you still see my presentation?
Your presentation.
Okay. Let's see if I can do this. All right. Okay, how about now?
Yes.
Okay, so this is out of the Cyber Threats and Countermeasures module, and basically this entire lab is online. So they're utilizing an online website, hack.me, and they set up a sandbox in there and they perform like a SQL injection and a few other things. So you could utilize this if you're trying to teach security online and you don't have any remote access to VMs or anything like that. And so that's just a sample of the materials that you will find in there. And then there's also the PowerPoints and other things. And so the modules are pretty, pretty in depth. So that's the first thing. Okay, so now I'm back to my PowerPoint, I hope. Do you see the
Yes.
PowerPoint? Okay. Okay, so the second thing that C5 has produced are these lessons. And so the lessons can be found at insight.net slash C5-lessons, or you can just go to insight.net and look under resources, and you can find there's other things available to you that you can also use. So these concept lessons were designed by high school teachers. There's 13 lessons. Here are the developers for those
Here are
lessons.
the 3 labs, or the 3 takeaways we want you to be able to do in the course of the entire
Yes.
semester.
So if
Ken's,
everybody could
some
mute
point
their
during
mic,
this,
I would really appreciate it so that we don't get the background. Okay, so all of these teachers teach the Apcsp, and they're very experienced, so they've been doing it for some time. For those of you that aren't familiar, the CSP includes these big ideas. We've developed roadmaps which are available on the website that shows how the developed lessons fall under each of the big ideas. Also, I went through and figured out the number of minutes. If you were going to teach the entire lesson, the minimum and maximum amount of time that the teachers estimated, just so people had an idea. For instance, let's say I only want to teach the CIA triad lesson as part of my APCSP, it would be the equivalent of about 2 to 3 class periods. So 100 to 150 minutes. So here is one of the big ideas, impact of computing, and the various lessons that line up underneath. So one thing to make clear, these are not like additional lessons. Some of these lessons include the APCSP content in them. So the idea is that it's integrated in. Okay. So the CIA triad, here are the outcomes for this particular lesson, and what the students should be able to do by the time they complete the lesson. Now, one thing I want to tell you is the lessons were initially developed in this format where you can download them in the paper format. So, but as we also have them available in an online format. So for the CIA triad, here's an example of how it's mapped out. So in the lesson, it actually shows which of the things the LOs map to in the big idea. So for this LO, explain how data can be represented using bits, that is addressed in the CIA triad lesson. We also have planning and pacing guides that you can use to figure out how you would teach this. For the initial lessons that were developed and that we have online, the intent was it would be traditional face-to-face setting or a blended classroom, but that is not necessarily the case. So there are activities in there like the Gone Phishing lesson that introduces email phishing and through an online quiz, and other activities that the students do as part of the lessons. Now, we contracted with CodeHS to integrate the lessons into their platform and into their APCSP course, which is College Board approved. We are now pursuing College Board approval for the Apcsp Cyber. So what it comes down to is the majority of the material they had in their APCSP course is still there, and then these lessons were integrated into it. Now, a few things that are different, I don't know if this is in here, but like I just showed you what was in the phishing activity. Okay, so in the standalone, download it from the Insight website. This is an activity that students would do on a computer from a lab, or they answer a quiz. In the CodeHS platform, they actually created a simulator. They created an email simulator where the students look at the emails in their inbox and determine whether they're phishing or not based on the address and other things. And it's interactive. So in other words, they is it phishing or not? They say yes or no, and whether they got it right. So it's more than just read this PowerPoint. It's actually an interactive online lesson. This here just kind of shows how it's laid out in CodeHS. Okay, so the other thing I do want to point out is, let's see, where is that? Oh, sorry, I'm not there yet. Let me go back. Okay, so we have three things. We have the paper lessons with PowerPoints that are on the Insight.net website. We have the complete CodeHS Cyber course that has the lessons integrated into them. We also have the standalone online lessons at CodeHS. So you could choose to just say, I'm just going to teach cryptography, but I want it in an online format. You could utilize the CodeHS standalone lesson versus using the integrated course. You'll see right here the teacher for this class is Stephen Miller. So I think that's basically all I had to say about this. Do we have any questions? From anybody in the chat or on the mic?
There is one question about showing the address again. I think it was the hack website.
Okay, so that's one of the labs. It's hack.me. So that's, let's see, I'm gonna have to stop this. Let's see, I gotta stop share. And then I'm gonna share. I'll have to go back into my PowerPoint to find that because it looks like I closed it. But it's a hackme.website. And that has, the students can create a sandbox. You don't have to have any kind of you can do it as a guest, if I remember right, because I went in and did it. What was the question exactly?
I think they wanted to know what the link was to those those lab resources.
So for
it was on your PowerPoint, I believe, when you.
Yeah, if you could just read me, like, okay, I see the chat. Okay. So the first one, can you show the address again? Can we go through the materials now then to get familiar, and can we share this with our high schools who have cyber programs? Yes, absolutely. So this is all free. Okay, so even the online Apcsp course is free. The company, the way they make money is they have a professional license that the school can pay for that gives the high school teacher teaching tools. So like a grade book and a bunch of other stuff. So let me, I gotta, I know what I'll do. I'll just kill this thing. Okay, then I'll just find it. So the actual HackMe one, that one is found in, let's see, oh yeah, okay. Let me open it up. Oops. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I have a problem because I've got all these screens and the thing shows up on one and then I can't find it. And, okay. Okay, can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, so it's in the Cyber Threats and Countermeasures module, C5 module on the insight.net website. And I can open it from current slide. Okay. So this is unit 2 in that particular module. So you would download, you can download the entire module. It includes PowerPoints and other things like assessments and stuff, or I believe you can just download the labs. Okay, so we have another question in chat.
I just posted the link to the
Oh,
module.
okay, so so one thing I want to make clear, all of this is free. Okay, so you can utilize this any way you want. It would be helpful if you would tell us that you had planned on doing that. I can tell you for the colleges and universities that are on the call, some of the modules were actually mapped to things that people are having difficulty teaching for the CAE. So like the principles of cybersecurity. So what I've seen with the colleges and universities, they'll take like one module and introduce it to their class. So you can pick and choose what you want. For the high school teachers, you have an additional option. So you have the lessons you can download directly from the Insight website. You also have the online version at CodeHS, both integrated into a course and as standalone lessons. And hopefully everybody is familiar with the Insight website. So I'm going to stop the share unless there's any other questions about this particular lab. I mean, I thought it was pretty neat. I mean, you just went in there and you started your sandbox. Now, the first part I thought was, I don't know about that, you know. So you create the sandbox and then you answer these questions. So it's a little like read this stuff, but you don't actually get to do anything with your sandbox until you're down here. So this first lab is just create the sandbox and then like view this movie, answer these questions, and now you've done. That's a little disappointing. But the second one, you get to actually do stuff. Now, they don't tell them exactly how to do everything. So here they're doing a SQL injection. So, and they have the OWASP top 10 in there on the left, and you can read about each of the top 10, and A3 is the authentication and session management. So they get to try a SQL injection on their sandbox. And so that's pretty good because then you don't have to worry about anything really, because this is done across the internet on a website they have the permission to do it with. So the last thing, I don't know, how much time do I have here?
You have another 10 or 15 minutes
Oh,
if you want.
yeah, I tend to get to the point, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
so here, I'm going to stop this. Is this security content that's being learned then as part of the CSAP exam? The APCSP? No, I cannot verify. This is from the module that would be used in colleges and universities. In the APCSP, we can actually take a look. So let's take a look at let's just look at one of them. First, I'm going to kill my PowerPoint. Have I killed my sharing? I think I have.
Yes, you have.
Okay, so we're going to take a look at the actual.
So we have a pilot too going on right now with the Code HS with several high school teachers throughout the year to get some additional review and feedback.
Yes. So if you just want to get an idea of what is in the content here. Okay, so this is the Insight.net website, and in here or under resources, you can find all of this stuff. Okay, so you can just go here, and these are all of the things that we have available right now. So you'll see here are all of the modules, and here are all of the lessons. So there are two things, a module or a lesson. The module is much more in depth and was actually geared toward community colleges and universities. It is used by high schools also. The lessons were geared for high schools, although it can be used in a community college or university in an intro class. So let's see what we get when we click on this. Okay, so here's the planning and pacing guide that shows you how to lay it out. From what we've seen so far with the pilot schools, they're not introducing any of the a standalone lesson until about week I think it was like week 5, Stephen, is that right?
It varies week 5 up to week 8 in some cases, and they have a little flexibility on how they want to address those.
So as you can see here, that content with the OWASP, I highly doubt it would be in here. So like for instance, they're broken down. This one here is about 2 hours of content. And I'm not sure where I would find that. Would that be under input validation or, let's see, cyber ethics? Well, let's just take a look at one of these. I'm going to take a look at this one, see what I get. So I shared my screen, so my hope is you can see what I have on my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So basically for this one, understand ways in which attackers gain unauthorized access to systems and data. And so we have an overview that basically talks about what's going to be in there, and then we have these activities, and we have the PowerPoint. This let me in activity. Okay, so this one, view. Okay, so this is one of the activities. So for this one, they're learning about passwords. Okay, and they're talking about setting up the lab environment. This one is also in an online version at the CodeHS platform, since I know the majority of people are not teaching in person. So just be aware that we also have this translated into like interactive type of activities that they can do. And so like here, you know, they research the most popular passwords and they look at password strength, and they review the NIST guidelines for password security. So that's quite a bit different from going to hack.me and looking at the OWASP top 10 and doing a SQL injection. But those are the activities. This is a sample activity that's in paper, and then the online version's interactive. So I believe in the online one, I thought they weren't they writing a script to actually?
Yes, yeah, they do, yeah.
They write a script in the online version to I think it had something to do with the password.
Yeah,
So.
to verify passwords and
Okay.
yeah, and to all, you know, so it would like if you, it would write a script that would the user's logging in, and then it verifies whether it meets the requirements for a good password or not, those type of things.
Okay, so to get access, you should be able to get access from the CodeHS website. Now, I know that at one time, and I think I actually have it in the PowerPoint, they had a code that they used. And do you know if that still works, Stephen?
I'm not sure if it still works. I can check. Let me see. Well, I'm already in, so I can't check the code, I guess.
Oh, are you in CodeHS?
Yeah, I have it. If I was going to try to mention, I've actually brought up the
Okay.
phishing simulator, but for
You want
some,
to show it?
yeah, I can show that.
Yeah, why don't you show it?
If I can, let me see if I can share my screen.
And I'm going to see if I can get that code for them.
Corrine, your host, you may have to give Stephen permission.
Yeah, I think you will.
Okay, I'm making you a co-host.
Okay. All right. Okay. So can you see I'm right here on this is down in part of the, in CodeHS is when they have additional cybersecurity activities. So one is the simulator. So you can see here, it tells you, so we can click run and you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, we can
Okay.
see it.
Okay. So it's, so here's your inbox, and it says click run, and then click on each email and decide whether, so I'll do that. I'll look at the first one. So here's the first email. It's hr@xcodehs.com. Hello, please download and sign in. So is that a valid, so do I download it or do I ignore it? So I'm going to download it just to show you what happens. Okay. And okay, let me see. Run the code. There we go. I'm going to try it again. All right. I might be in the wrong browser now that I think about it. So.
Did you click on it?
Yes, but I think I have the. I'm not on a good browser to explain to show this, unfortunately. So let me try one of these others. Which should, no, for some reason it's not going. Sorry about that. But you get an idea of what it looks like when they. So each one of these is an email that they click on, and it will tell them whether they've. If they said download this when it's really not supposed to, it'll explain why they shouldn't have.
So if you look at them, I mean, I only do everything in Chrome, and Chrome works here, but maybe go back, Stephen, to the list of the emails. Like go to the blue box and click the back button. Okay, so if you look at that, the first one is fake because of that X.
Right.
Second one's legit, and the third one has 2 L's and PayPal.
Yeah.
And so they'll get it's not like you failed, it's more like try again, or I can't remember what it said, but so this is different than here's research this thing and then discuss it. So this is a way they can do it. They can do a lot of things online. CodeHS actually broke the lessons up into smaller pieces and so on in their course. But the lessons are also available standalone, so you could just do the phishing I forgot what lesson this is, but you could just do this lesson and
Yeah, and it has, let me go back to
okay,
the main lesson. I can show you where these lessons are.
okay.
Uh, so scroll down. Where I found these particular ones was under the cyber ethics. So I'm sorry, not, let's see, where is it? Let me go back to the beginning.
Input.
Okay, here's the full course.
Yeah, so this is the full APCSP course. So as you can see, the first part of this, like the introduction to programming, that's basically their section on programming. And I don't believe they integrated anything from our cyber lessons in there.
No.
But as you go further down, there will be parts in there that were replaced with a cyber flavor type of, they're still addressing the LOs, but they're addressing them from a cybersecurity perspective. And so by the time you get through it, they have covered the APCSP content, and they've learned some cyber as part of that. And then there are some additional lessons. Like for instance, if you run out, you're done with your course in May or something, and you have another month to go, you could fill it with the some standalone lessons.
Yeah, okay, so here's your exam, and then after the exam, they have the extra pseudocode and then additional security modules. So, so there's a lot of, you know, you have those capabilities. Some instructors, teachers said they may use some of this before the end, others not. So it really starts in Unit 4 where they actually start integrating some of that in the Java scripts.
That's right. Like the JavaScript they write is that the password one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they still are learning how to write the code, but they're using it for
password validation.
Password validation.
Exactly. Yeah. And then that a lot more is introduced in in this Unit 7 and 8. 8 has quite a bit of more information in it, and then of course stenography. So it's they've done a good job of integrating this. There's actually they put together a kind of a guide showing where the cybersecurity topics are integrated into each one of the units.
Then keep in mind, if you're teaching like an intro class, like intro to computers or intro to cyber, you could probably utilize some of these things too in your college, if you're teaching them in a college. So it's got a lot of different uses. Everything is free for everybody. And I'm hoping that really the goal here is that we see more computer science classes that are including cyber in their content. And so it's not just pure programming, it's more, it also includes the cyber concepts.
Right. So that's kind of what it looks like. And
do we have any questions from anybody or comments?
Hi, Corrinne. Do you need to have some kind of code to get in, even though it's free, or is it just open to?
Yeah, so we, you know, I have in this PowerPoint the codes, but we're not sure if those codes still work. And so let me find that, because I believe they were making it available as a resource on the CodeHS website and did not require code, but I could be wrong.
To general public, you mean?
Yeah, general public. Yeah. Now you may need a CodeHS account.
Right, okay.
So let me see if I can
follow up with them too on this and provide that information later.
Thanks, Stephen.
Yeah, let's do that. I mean, I'm tempted to just go to CodeHS and.
But you can try it, I guess, if you want to see if that'll work. It'll probably, I tried that before, but it already has me linked into it, so it takes me right into the course.
Yeah, so they have their curriculum. I think, yeah, I think it's under curriculum, and then they have a course catalog. You can sign up for free, you know, to access their curriculum. And I believe we have to make sure they've published the Apcsp. So the bottom line is we're going to have to follow up. I think what we can do is just email everybody that's attended today.
Yeah.
Great, thanks.
Okay, any other questions? All right, well, thanks everybody. And I hope you're able to utilize this stuff.
Thanks, Corrinne.
Thank you. It looks interesting.
Okay. I'll let Todd, but I need to stop sharing or something. Let's see.
If you could allow me to share too. We have a few, I'd like to check and see if the members have anything they'd like to share with us. Let us know your news. Nobody's got anything to share? Okay. On Tuesday this coming week, we have an update meeting on the CAE and the processes. There's one for new programs or new institutions and program development schools. That's at 10 a.m. Pacific time on September 29th, Tuesday. And there's one for redesignated schools right after that. You can visit the website to get registered for those. Been a lot of changes in the CAE process, and this is meant to just kind of catch everyone up on where that stands. The CMMC workshop in October, the cybersecurity maturity model certification, we are doing a workshop for educators to learn more about that, the requirements, and learn how to present that information. That will be October.
For those of you on the call, the Department of Defense issued a new requirement for any business that's doing work with the federal government. They have to meet a certain standard in cybersecurity, and they have to be able to demonstrate that. So the CMMC workshop is so that you can learn what the requirements are for that certification and incorporate it into your class if you want to, so that when your students graduate, they will have the knowledge of the CMMC for any business they work at that does business with the federal government.
That's been a driver for our apprenticeship program.
Yeah, it's impacting a lot of areas. They just came out with the actual requirements in July. And so what it means is that a business that's working with the Department of Defense will be audited. So they have auditor workshops, and to determine whether they have to meet level 3, I believe the majority of them, in order to qualify for a contract with the federal government. So it could have an impact, especially if you're in an area where there's a lot of businesses that work with the federal government, because they're right now they're pretty desperate to meet this requirement. And so this will be a way to learn about it and possibly offer this type of training where you're at.
One of the unusual things for us was we had 3 contract companies that do, builders, electrical work, and even one company is in welding and all that at the White Sands. But they wanted to train. So this can be a challenge for your courses, because some of these apprenticeship students had no experience with IT or anything like that, and so it's been a struggle. But I think your workshop will help people better understand it.
So Pat, we are about to let everybody know. I mean, we're going to have to put some people on a wait list, I think, maybe. We will be letting people know shortly. But we are talking about offering like an additional two more workshops, because we are getting a lot of interest.
Okay. The last thing I wanted to catch up on is we launched a new YouTube channel this summer, and want to call attention to that. There's lots of new videos on there being posted each month, and hopefully we can get you to go visit. And if you like what you see, please subscribe. We need to get our numbers up to get a personalized URL. So that would really help us, and it'll help you with lots of great videos. The next month's member webinar will be on mapping the NCL to CAE KUs and NICE framework work roles. Will be presented by Dan Manson, who is the NCL commissioner, former PI of CyberWatch West.
PI of
Sorry.
CyberWatch West, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we'll hope to see you there. You can register today if you like. And the invitation will be going out in the next 2 weeks. That's all we have.
Just a reminder that October is the Cybersecurity Awareness Month, so you can sign up to participate in those activities with the NIST and several other organizations. I think Stay Safe Online is another resource. Okay.
Are you going to be emailing us a link